Hey! Hey! You guys need any help?
Oh, shit. A bioterrorist. Hey! It's one of those freaks!
It's okay. Whoa! No! Oh, this fast healing stuff is gonna come in real handy.
Though fantastical, the mass appeal of superheroes and of wielding superhuman power is rooted in escapism. Superhero stories are a proxy for dealing with life's troubles, with social injustice, or with the terrible acts committed by those in power that are constantly spoon-fed to us on the daily news. We are powerless to enact change as we are, but with superpowers, we can do anything. Lofty subject matter is superhero media. However, by and large, their stories only flirt with the heavy themes they pose. They aren't intended to provide finite resolutions though, because if they did, they'd ignore the other side of the coin. That is, superheroes, and to be fair, supervillains, are real, relatable people. They're caricatures of the human story, conduits of an endless struggle even. And for anyone who's played through the inFamous series, conduit is as apt a word choice as any. See, superheroes in inFamous are colloquially named conduits or bioterrorists, as contemptuously renamed by Second Son's totalitarian Department of Unified Correction. Fearing a repeat of the incidents in the first two inFamous games, upon Second Son's outset, the government-backed DUP have already rounded up the world's conduits, believing they're all safely incarcerated. Their propaganda works to convince ordinary citizens of conduits' untrustworthiness.
Aren't you a bioterrorist too? Okay.
Yes, I am. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. And it's clear now that you're not a coward, which means there's something that you're not telling me.
While transferring 3 captured conduits, a military truck crashes on the fictional Akamish tribe reservation, right in the view of new series protagonist Delsin Rowe and his brother Reggie. Juvenile Delsin exudes frustration, but channels his aggression into free expression, instead asserting his creativity in graffitiing billboards, all whilst local Sheriff Reggie provides the otherwise wayward Delsin with firm moral compass. Delsin inadvertently learns of his conduit capabilities after retrieving Hank Daughtry from the military truck wreckage, absorbing Hank's smoke powers upon contact, whilst 2 other conduit passengers flee the scene. In vain effort to understand his newfound abilities, Delsin tracks Hank through a cannery warehouse, eventually leading into the clutches of Second Son's hard-edged antagonist Brooke Augustine. Herself a conduit, Augustine encases Hank in concrete shards before questioning Delsin and torturing the tribe's matriarchal leader, Betty. The stage is set. Relatable, flawed lead character, newfound superpowers, and a whole mess of injustice in which to enact righteous vengeance. Despite inFamous Second Son being an entirely new superhero story devoid of any direct comic book inspiration, its formula is still admittedly a tad derivative. Where Second Son excels, though, is in its characters, and specifically how Delsin's choices impact his perception in the eyes of others, both familial, of his community, and the citizens of game location Seattle. It's during Delsin's opening encounter with the DUP director Augustine that he's confronted with the first of Second Son's karmic choices. Should he decide to be heroic, using his newfound powers as a force for good? Or should he walk the villain's path, usurping any accountability in his forthcoming destruction? Second Son continues the morality system established in the first 2 games, but it's here in the series' 3rd entry that player decisions are more important than ever. The binary choice of good versus evil designed to prod at players' personal ethics. Later, Delsin and Reggie encounter military truck crash escapee Abigail Fetch Walker, a conduit wielding fluorescent neon powers. On transferring her powers onto him, Delsin has the option to redeem or corrupt Fetch. Opt to corrupt her, and she'll be molded into a remorseless killer, turning her superpowers away from her noble mission of eradicating the city's harmful drug dealers, instead focusing her negative energy on anti-conduit activists. Now, being an activist isn't strictly illegal. To put it another way, there's strong chance the anti-conduit brigade include decent, innocent people amongst them. By corrupting Fetch, Delsin is effectively condemning these people to death. It's murder by proxy. Redeem her, though, and she's encouraged to continue her fight against drug pushers and hardened criminals. You know, the ones who are enacting their own brand of oppressive misery on Seattle's citizens. It must be said, Sucker Punch clearly prefer players to choose the hero's path. There can't be many of us who'd opt for rampant killing of ordinary citizens, and let's remember the anti-conduit citizens in Second Son are corrupted by the DUP's propaganda. Still, with the consequences of Delsin's choices yielding opposing scenarios, Second Son's karmic system offers substantially more poignancy than a simple yes or no question ever would. So, on to Delsin's superpowers, of which there are 4 categories: Smoke and Neon, absorbed from conduits Hank and Fetch respectively, Video powers obtained from Eugene Sims, and Concrete, which Delsin must obtain from Augustine to rewind the injuries she inflicted on his Akamish community. Each power equips Delsin with its own visual flair unique mechanics. There are plenty of melee weapons and projectiles that are all supremely animated, with Neon powers especially offering a dazzling array of fluorescent beams with its supercharged Phosphor Beam special ability. Video powers exhibit some of the most unique abilities seen in gaming too. The devastatingly powerful pixelated melee weaponry, longsword if good karmic path is chosen and digital claws if bad, video powers afford Delsin momentary invisibility via its Shroud of Invisibility skill, or the visually arresting Video Surge, in which Delsin grows digital wings to glide over the city's rooftops. In fact, traversal throughout inFamous Second Son is a blast, and a remarkable feat of world design on Sucker Punch's part in that they've incorporated natural launch pads into the built environment. Enter air conditioning vents with smoke powers enabled, and Delsin swiftly transfers from ground to rooftops, fast travelling as air through air conditioning pipework. Rooftops are dotted with satellite dishes, which Delsin can absorb into when equipping with video powers, launching him skyward in an intoxicating cloud of digital pixels. There is fast travel in inFamous Second Son, but why would anyone use it? Seattle is visually stunning. As an early entry utilizing the previous PlayStation generation's hardware, Second Son's graphics and environmental design hold up remarkably well 8 years later. Sure, Second Son's version of Seattle is weirdly compact, a microcosm of its real-life counterpart. The point here though is that it serves as a playground for widespread destruction, somewhere fantastical for Delsin to wield his powers consequence-free, yet grounded with a semblance of reality. Setting Second Son in a real-life location is contrary to the previous 2 inFamous titles, which were set in GTA-style interpretations of real-life places. By doing this, Sucker Punch adorns their locales with cherry-picked characteristics, whilst exploring the lofty subject matter often seen in superhero titles without any risk of culture misstep. Utilizing Seattle for the series' 3rd mainline entry marks a confident step in Sucker Punch's approach to narrative delivery. What's most delightful, though, is the relationship and brotherly interplay between Delsin and Reggie throughout inFamous Second Son's campaign. Masterfully cast for sure, but the sublime acting of real-life friends Troy Baker and Travis Willingham, performing as Delsin and Reggie respectively, seriously grounds Second Son with a tangible reality. We care what happens to these characters, despite their flaws and gimmicks. If Second Son's attempt at exploring deep thematic elements remains surface level, it's the journey its 2 main characters take on together that lives long in the memory, making inFamous Second Son a thoroughly worthwhile play. Oh, and it's tons of fun too. So what are your thoughts on this? go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.